Welcome to Inside Whitebox. In this episode we're going to be fitting the SoboPro floor and showing you how it speeds up installation times. We're also going to be talking about the future of Whitebox. Is there one? And how can we adapt in this ever-changing world? And we're also going to talk about sustainability. All our products are sustainable, but how do we do it and how do we ensure they're sustainable for the future? Today we have this Transit Custom L1 H1 and this is being fitted out for a heating and electrical company. We had a lot to design into this. The customer carries a lot of tools, a lot of accessories, ladders are going in, but they didn't want to raise floor in here, which sometimes we do to store ladders underneath. So we had to find space for everything in here. It's got racking going on the left, the right, and the bulkhead. So we're hoping the designs are right, which they always are, that everything will go in nice and smooth. So let's get on with the build. This is straight from the factory or straight from the dealer. So you can see it's nice and shiny, it's not been used. First thing we're going to do is take out the plastic liner because this is having a Sortimo floor going in. So we're going to get the boys to take the floor out and crack on with it.
So I'm looking forward to getting into it. It's nice that we're not having to cut a second deck for a change. I haven't got any small gaps to crawl in. Small spaces! So this floor, there's nothing that we can do with it. It's dead to us, but it's brand new. It's made of plastic. So environmentally, it would be a waste to skip it. So what Mark does is list them by name and model at free to collector on Facebook Marketplace, and people can then come and collect them for their own vans free of charge, so it helps them out. And at the same time, I mean, look at that, it's a massive chunk of plastic. Let's not throw that in the bin for no reason. Perfectly usable. Does a bit for the customer, does a bit for people that aren't necessarily able to afford new van stuff, and does its bit for the environment. So what's really nice about this job is we're using the SoboPro floor from Sortimo. The difference between the SoboPro and the Sobo Grip is the Pro floor comes pre-drilled and it's got all of its timber connectors already sited underneath. For us, in terms of installation, saves us a lot of time, so it's obviously going to cut down the labour charge for the customer. And in terms of security, the Sobo Grip is perfectly secure and crash tested. The Sobo Grip Pro is, as you can see, very well secured. And the other advantage is they come with the integral load restraint straps. So rather than us having to attach a rail over the top, we've got flush fitting, load securing hooks there.
Something to bear in mind, this bulkhead unit has got to be fitted close to the side door as possible. The reason being, on the design, you see this block here.
Yep.
That is the customer's ladders that I've drawn in.
Okay.
So there's also some strapping points on here, which should be in the accessories. So that needs to be able to fit into there. And also bear in mind, now we have drawn in on here some accessories on this side. Now, it's more important, really, to fit the ladder than it is the accessories. If we can get both in, that's fine, but he's got, you know, obviously we've got space here to fit other accessories.
Yeah.
So they were kind of drawn in just because. But yeah, this is the main.
Okay, cool. And you've got that ladder size direct from the customer, yeah?
Yes, I have, yeah. So we should be able to click on that. There you go. So there's our dimensions, 1219, 533 by 178. And I think originally they were wider and I've had to make them narrower to get the ladder in.
And I'm just going to look as well at the bulkhead end of the offside unit, because that's going to be our kind of clasher, isn't it?
I mean, that is obviously because we're fitting on SoboPro, they are where they are. I mean, if we had major issues, we would have to refit. Oh, just bear in mind this as well.
Yeah.
So that's got to be fitted. But again, it should
got
all.
a lot of bears in my mind, didn't I?
It have, yeah. Which ones are they? Yogi? What's the matter, boo boo?
Anyway, back to the real world of work. Cool. Yeah, that all makes sense, mate. No worries.
So obviously these are going to go on the SoboPro blitz. We can fit the bulkhead unit wherever we want, so it could be closer or further, but obviously we need it as close to the side door as possible.
And we're bracketing through the bulkhead, are we?
Yes, we are, yeah.
So previously, before this tool, we had a long set of tongs, about that long, and you'd have to screw a rib nut onto the end, push it into the side of the van, squeeze it down, and then get it unscrewed. So we'd have to lift this racking all the way out of the vehicle to have room to fit the tongs in there, to fit the rib nut. It also means that if we're working up near the bulkhead in any little nooks and crannies, we couldn't get the tongs in previously, so we'd have to resite the bracket entirely. Mark has very wisely invested, and it is an investment, in this rib nut gun. So what this does now, where I used to have to screw the rib nuts onto the front, that does it for me, and just coming up to pressure, but we might get away with it. So as you can see, I'm into a tight little corner. Previously I'd have to fit the massive tongs in there and do this under arm power. Now I do that and that, and it's fitted. Previously that was 6 or 7 minutes, so real labour saver.
While the boys are fitting the racking, Morgan was asking about sustainability of the product. I mean, compared to wood, you know, it does cost more in terms of climate and environment to manufacture aluminium, but of course it's going to last longer, it's lighter, you know, it's going to help the guy be more organised, so that's less trips. You know, if you can have everything to go to the job first time without returning, not only is it going to save you time and allow you to do more of the things you love, it's going to cost you less fuel, it's going to cost less to the environment. But there are other things that we look at here. So we were asked earlier, the plastic liner we've taken out of the van, you know, rather than cut that up and chuck it and make it go into landfill, we just list those on Facebook Marketplace or eBay free to collector. We've got rid of loads of them, and hopefully, you know, where people have bought a new van or a second-hand van, it's got wood lining in and they'd rather have a plastic liner, people come and pick them up and put them in their van. Not always though do they turn up in a van. We've had to roll a few up and put them in cars. Don't quite understand what they're going to do with them, but they do get taken away and they do get reused. Although it's not finished yet, you see the boys have been building this little shelter out here, which on a day like this, if they want to go out for a cigarette or I want a cup of tea while I'm on the phone to get away from the noise, perfect little place to keep out of the way. It's all built out of offcuts of OSB and pallets as well. We've still got to finish it off, we've got to line the roof, but that's another, you know, nice thing that we're trying to do to be sustainable. Over on the other side there, you'll see we've only half painted the container. That was done on purpose. Did save a bit of paint and a bit of money, but we're going to put some OSB board up there as well and have a nice living garden for carbon sequester. And up on the roof, we're running on solar. That's, you know, the cost of that for us is dramatically lowered our electricity prices. And of course, the less electricity we use, the more sustainable that is. I think our bill for the last 6 months was 500 quid. We don't use a lot of electricity in here, LED lighting, but the solar power really helps. And we've even had the air conditioning on in the summer because it can get very hot. We're south facing, although we wouldn't feel it on a day like today. And because of this, we've managed to join the ORB, the Organisation for Responsible Businesses, and their mantra is planet, people, profit. You put the planet before anything else, you put the people before anything else, and then finally, hopefully there's enough left over for me to help feed the kids and buy new equipment. So that's what we're doing here at Whitebox to stay sustainable. And of course, me and Matt also run a project called The Wilderness, which gets people out into nature and reconnects them with it. And that's a non-for-profit community interest company. So lots going on here. Not only do we fit racking, we care about the environment too. Whitebox has grown and grown, you know, since I've really put my foot on the throttle, and it's taken a few years of ups and downs. I think things have really progressed. We've doubled our turnover year on year, we've maintained our profits or our margins, just by giving a good quality service, and people recognise that. What worries me, and this happened at COVID, I'm reliant majorly on 2 suppliers. If there's ever any problems with deliveries or their own supply issues, it closes down my business. So what I wanted to do is have a 3rd arm to the business where I can control a little bit more of the process. So I've always wanted to do adventure vans or camper vans since we started. But I never really felt I could build one of my own, but building one to retail is a different matter. There's a lot of different stuff that goes into it, and I never really felt we had the skill set to do it. But over the years, we've developed that. We do more electrics now, we do lighting. We've got the carpentry guys here, they can do a lot of the carpentry stuff. So I think we've got the skill set to be able to do it. And it was about biting the bullet and just going ahead. So we've got some finance in place. So we're gonna go ahead with it, and we're going to start building the adventure van. It's based on a medium wheelbase Mercedes Sprinter. It's going to have pumped up tyres. It's going to have you know, winch on the outside, extra pods on the outside for carrying stuff, you know, all your canoes, kayaks, bikes, and a pop top with an extra bed. Like I said earlier in the car, you know, it's there isn't really a perfect van. Because you're dealing with limited space, there's always a compromise. So, you know, we had to compromise on a few things because we've got such a big family. I mean, there's 6 of us. Whereas if there's just 2 of you, obviously you've got a little more space to play with. But yeah, that's the next thing. If we can build this van with us, my family as a client, then hopefully someone will see that and see our good workmanship and ask us to build one for them. And that starts a new division of the business, you know, camper van, adventure vans. Right, that's it, it's a wrap. The boys are just fitting the last of the accessories. It's only taken us half a day to fit this. With the Pro floor, it's half the install time. It'd normally take us a day to fit the 3 units. So that's less labour cost to the customer, that's less time in the workshop, that's a happy customer and it's a happy us. So let's go to the final reveal.